Welcome to Channeling Success with Jasmina, powered by Titan Cloud Solutions. Today's episode is a special one for me because I'm joined by two women that I've had the privilege of working with and calling friends, I feel like forever. And that's Amy Bailey and Kathryn Rose, both co-founders of the Channel Marketing Association. Welcome to the podcast, Amy and Kathryn. So everything around advancing the channel marketing as a profession through this association, though, they've built literally a community that brings both together the marketers, the vendors, the partners, all trying to learn from each other. They've shared best practices, elevating how we approach the go-to market strategies in the channel, including myself. Everybody knows I've always been in sales, but man, do I appreciate marketing like you'd never believe. So I've personally worked with both of you in different capacities over the years, and I've seen firsthand the care that you guys put into supporting others in this ecosystem. And that's one of the reasons I'm really excited about attending your guys' upcoming Channel Marketing Association annual awards event, which is in Houston, again, this March. Yeah. And it's an event, honestly, everybody has become more of a must attend for channel marketers looking to learn from their peers and industry marketing leaders. So incredibly grateful to have you guys here. And then I'm also incredibly grateful to the two of you being recognized there for the second year in a row with the peer voted Connector Award, which makes this conversation an opportunity really to highlight you both, and the work that you guys are doing is even more meaningful. So today I'm going to shift this around and we're going to talk about the channel marketing from evolving partner strategies, sales marketing alignment, community building, everything and in between. So Amy and Kathryn, thank you both for being here. To start us off, I'd really love for each of you to share a bit of your backgrounds and what inspired you guys to co-found the Channel Marketing Association. And we'll start with either of you.
Amy forced me. No, Amy and I have known each other for a really long time. So Kathryn Rose, I was in the IT side. Well, I started in telecom, then AV, then I went to the IT side of the channel. And I'm not going to say how long ago that was, but it was quite a while ago. And so I started my own thing, ChannelWise, and we do the coaching cafes at a lot of the industry events. You see that we, have one-on-one coaching at the industry events. And Amy pulled together this incredible event for channel marketers after she left Telarus. I'll obviously tell her story, but she pulled this incredible event together for channel marketers, and we said, and a lot of our friends were getting riffed. So this was like back in August of 23. Amy, keep me honest. I think it's August of 23.
Yeah.
And we were like, this is crazy. I mean, our friends are getting riffed. Channel marketing wasn't really getting the respect. Not that it really ever did, honestly. Because it's really hard to draw like a direct line from an email or a tweet or a LinkedIn post to a sale, right? So it gets a little bit muddy anyway, but then it got bad because a lot of our friends were, as I said, were getting riffed and or reorganizations. And I had noticed in 2012 that I'd been working with a lot of channel marketers, around the country and around the world. And they were always asking me like, what are the best practices? And I was like, you guys don't talk to each other. So I actually registered the name Channel Marketing Association in 2012. So I said to Amy, I was like, hey, we should do this. And she was like, sure.
As Amy always does.
That's kind of how it started. And then we did our very first webinar in December of 23. It was like do more with less, right? Amy I think Daylin was on it, and Sam and some of our good friends. And we had like 300 people register for it. So we were like, obviously this is a thing. So, and then the rest is history. So Amy, yeah.
Thank you.
I might have voluntold Amy, but I don't know. a little bit of that, but yeah. So Amy Bailey, I left Telarus in 2022.
Yep.
And started my own business, Unusual Consulting. So we do marketing strategy and event planning for the telecom and IT channel. But really, when I was back at Telarus, the cable cos got together and did an event called the Cable Marketing Summit. And I met some of my still best friends in the channel at that event because they would bring two people from each of the TSDs together and we would talk about channel marketing. And in the beginning, the very first time they brought us together, we all kind of went, you're my competitor. I don't want to talk to you. Right. And then an hour in, we were like, oh my God, you tried that. I spent $50,000 on that and it didn't work at all. And what are we going to do? And we all started sharing with each other, and we realized, the rising tide floats all boats, right? And it made all of us better. And so I decided, like Kathryn said, when I started my own business, that I wanted to do a marketing summit. The cable marketing summit had gone away after COVID, and now the cable co's kind of compete with each other with their auxiliary brands. And so I said, I'm just going to do this. And I went to Kathryn and I said, hey, you have all this network of great experts. Can you help me fill the speaking spots with your folks? And she did. And we had about 50 people attend, and everybody went, yeah, we need to do this all the time. We need a regular cadence of this. We need, a community. And so that was really what,
Absolutely.
kind of the impetus that made us do all this. And we love it. We have 1,000 members today, and we do our great event, like you mentioned, in Houston,
Wow.
which is not just the awards, but it's also, three days of education. We bring in incredible speakers from, really high level companies like Titan Cloud Storage, but
That's right.
also like, Microsoft and AWS and Dell and Lenovo and, some really big people. And then we also have some smaller suppliers, right? I mean, like you said, Titan is smaller, you're nimble. You guys are, making pivots on things that, you don't have a huge channel marketing team. And so we're
Yep.
trying to give people advice for what to do when you're small. What do you have to do when you're scrappy? How can I learn from what you did and you already succeeded or failed at, so I can go and try that? And so that's really what we're about at CMA, and we're excited to welcome everybody. We've got about a month and a half to go, and we'll see how
We're
it goes.
almost sold out. I'm so
Almost sold
excited to
out.
say,
Hold on a
you
second.
know,
You said a
Yeah.
month and a half. No, do you realize the
Oh, it's a
first is
month.
on?
it's a month.
You're right. It's a month.
Today is a
It's
month.
even less
Yeah,
than a month. It's even less than a
Yeah,
month.
yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
yeah. We
crazy
start.
28
how.
days, something
We
like that.
start.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
26
we're
days,
almost
something like
sold out.
that.
Our
Yeah. So
room block was sold out. Like we have, thankfully, we put it at the Houston and at the Galleria. There's two hotels that are attached to either side. They're both Marriott's, which we're Marriott people. They didn't pay us to say that, but anyway. And so thankfully, like our room block was already full, and so we're at our overflow room block now. So we're just
Yep.
really excited, and honestly, I think both of us feel really grateful for the support of folks like you, Jazz and Titan, and the supporters. You mentioned the awards. We get to give awards to these incredible people,
I
and these aren't
know.
ours. Like we don't sit there and be like, oh, let me just throw some awards out. Like these are people get nominated. We spend a ridiculous amount of time, but it's worth it.
ridiculous.
It's worth
Yeah.
it. I mean, it's a lot, right? We spend like a whole, Saturday and Sunday basically like going through all the
But you
nominations, getting
exactly.
the criteria, and we take really good care because we really feel that there are other awards in the channel that are pay for play, like pay a fee and you get an award, or maybe there's an award because you're a woman of the channel. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but like we want to give people awards based on their profession. So that way you can add that to your resume. Like, hey, I was recognized as a connector or a marketing excellence person. And we just think it's so much, more valuable in a lot of ways.
That is literally, to me, the clear differentiator on you guys, because yes, you guys have this 3-day, what I call education on steroids. And it really deep dives into, like you said, Amy, around people who may never have been in marketing and all of a sudden they're put into it. And then all of a sudden you're learning from your peers who have gone through it so long. And then on top of that, like you said, these connector awards, not just connector awards, there's multiple awards, but it's based on true peer-to-peer recommendations and post voting. And it's amazing to see, like in the last 2 years or 3 years that I've been with you guys, but the last 2 years that I've been a part of those awards, it's different. It's not always the same person. There could be, multiple times that they're the same. It's because of what we do. But then all of a sudden you're adding these new people because now people are realizing what others are doing out there. And it's amazing for you guys to actually put that into fruition for others as well. So thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
Questions. Here we go.
Yeah. All right.
I would like, and I'm sure everyone else out there would be, so what are the biggest structural shifts you guys have seen recently in channel marketing? And how should those modern partners evolve their strategies to stay competitive?
So I'll take this one first. I think that, marketing is now accountable to revenue. And that hasn't been as big of an impact in the past. We all marketers love it when you call us the arts and crafts department. And that's not the case anymore, right? We are helping to find the ideal partner profile. We're not just recruiting everybody out there, but we're really saying to sales, like, hey, who is the best person to fit? You said like Titan Cloud Storage, you guys have an ideal partner that sells to this type of customer and this type of industry, this size, right? And so when we really can dial into that, and when we can work together with sales to come up with that IPP, and then invest in those co-marketing motions and really,
Absolutely.
align all the metrics, right? There's all those different things that we are now responsible for. And the bottom line is about revenue. And it's
Yep.
really about making sure that everybody's accountable for that. And I think that's one of the biggest shifts I'm seeing. What about you, Kathryn?
Yeah, obviously I agree. We see it a lot of time. We do the state of channel marketing report, right? And then, and one of the number one things they're talking about is the fact that like this attribution and, and that's kind of what started the whole impetus of starting this was that, trying to figure out like, how can we show the marketing impact? If you can't drive a straight line between, an email and a sale, especially when you have B2B2B,
Mhm.
so you add that extra layer of partners and then it could be all bets are off. So that's one. Two, the incredible amount of technology, because people are doing more with less. They lean a lot on technology to do things. The channel's a little
Absolutely.
bit, it's different though, because Peter Kajawa from Service Leadership will be there. I don't know if you're not familiar with Service Leadership. They've been doing MSP research for like, I don't know, long time, like 20 years maybe. And they look at MSP profitability. They look at the things that the MSPs do to be more profitable, and they give them advice and things like that. So he's going to be coming to talk about that. But one of the things that they do every year is this report that they do. And in there, it was like most MSPs, and I'm talking about obviously on the IT side, but most MSPs were founded more than 20 years ago. So these are people
I believe
who
it. Yep.
so obviously with marketers, like we're selling, like Jay McBain will talk about, your new buyer is a millennial, but as a partner marketer, you're selling to, maybe the older generation who then is selling to millennials. So now you have to keep that in mind with messaging, the technology that you're trying to implement, obviously AI. I mean,
I was just going to say AI.
yeah, with AI, I think that what's interesting that we've noticed is I think some people, we're just kind of getting AI'd out, right? Like we do the AI in the channel newsletter and we send it, we talk about a prompt and we do different things. And of course we have the channel GTM.ai, which is a platform that we worked with our platinum sponsor Structured on, where it's like an LLM specifically trained on channel stuff. So, and we make it free to our members, which is really fun. But what we've noticed is that like people are definitely using it for marketing and sales, but trying to figure out how to get all the data and all the interconnections and stuff like that, it's becoming a little bit challenging and overwhelming. So as part of the summit this year, we added on a partner marketing, or excuse me, a partner tech showcase day, where we have panels where people are actually practitioners. As you know, Jazz, like we are not a pay to play conference. So our sponsors, and we love them and we're super grateful for them, they get to moderate a panel, but they don't get to do the panel. We want to hear from the practitioner. So Amy's put together a really great lineup of speakers and all about like how are successful companies getting partners to use their portal, right? Like things like that.
That's important.
So, but the technology gets to be showcased. So the sponsors do get to, showcase their technology, but in between you're hearing from practitioners who are actually putting these things into the field. So I think those are the biggest challenges. Like Amy said, the revenue marketing, technology, AI, like these are the challenge, and the challenge of marketing to and through partners.
Nice. And that kind of gets into our next question from a challenges perspective. One ongoing challenge we hear from both sales and the marketing teams is the alignment. And that's how I used to feel back in the day, but especially in measuring success. So what are some of the best practices that you guys are seeing for creating true sales and marketing synergy in the channel?
It's really about being on the same page, right? And so when sales and marketing have shared dashboards, shared KPIs, they're all driving to the same goal, then your alignment works, right?
Yep.
If marketing's over here celebrating MQLs and sales is over here celebrating just closed deals, there's a gap. And we all need to be celebrating the same things. And it's not sales versus marketing; it's sales plus
Mm-mm.
marketing together. Really, having this like joint practices. And what are we going for? It's all about having the end goal in mind as you're making progress.
You really, it's the way you just said that is alignment together. Being a salesperson, almost all my life, I've always aligned with marketing, but as you start to see all this stuff around you, you're like, oh my God, marketing never understands me, and vice versa. And seeing what I've done over the past 2 years with Titan on marketing, leading the marketing efforts, it's amazing to see how the communication gap
Mm-hmm.
is there. It's blah 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 blah. It's the constant,
Yeah.
friction, and it really
Right.
comes down to, like you just said, as long as we're on the same page, it's got to be
Mm-hmm.
that communication. I think the communication was where the barrier was, and I'm seeing more and
Right.
more out there based on the last couple of years being at your guys' CMA event. Doing that with this event now brings sales and marketing together because we're pushing it in the lines of, like you said, Amy, marketing has now become a part of that goal strategy, bringing in that
Yeah.
revenue. So I love that. And I think that's exactly where we're headed, if not already there. And Kathryn, I don't know if
And,
you
and
want
it
to add
really has to
anything.
be. Let me just add one more thing. Like, it has to
Okay.
start with a joint planning session, right?
Yeah.
You got to have everybody in the same room together, and you have to agree on, what is it that we're tracking, and then agree on those rules of engagement, right? So when
Oh,
we get a lead,
absolutely.
what happens, right? Who owns the first contact? What's the follow-up timeline? Like, when do we say, yes, it's warm, it's ready for marketing, I'm handing it over to sales? And that trust has to be there, that
Oh
when
God,
I
yeah.
hand it over, that they're going to take it and run with it, right?
And
And
run with it.
but
Absolutely.
that all, if that happens in the joint planning session, then we're all on the same page.
Yep.
And I think that's where it all falls apart, when people aren't getting together in the very beginning to come up with a framework.
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Well, and I also think that, one of the things that we've uncovered the last couple of years with the State of Channel Marketing report is, I mean, it's getting a little bit better, but, nearly 60% of channel companies out there still don't have an accurate or fully baked out IPP. Like, who's your ideal partner? So some of
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
friction comes from where sales is like, it's a numbers game, and marketing's like, no, it's not. You know what I mean? And because in typical B2B sales, maybe it still is a numbers game, but with channel, if you really need those right fit partners. Otherwise, you are going to be throwing leads over the wall, and sales goes, these are terrible leads. Well, they are, because you just want a bunch of names and emails, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Like, so it's that alignment. And I still hear it a lot. I was just on a call with a CEO this morning where he was like, well, we got 1,500 leads from that effort that we did. And I was like, but how many of them, they weren't good? And I was like, yeah, because you're not targeting the right people, right?
Yeah.
Like, so
There's
it
touch
is like,
points. It's touch points.
right.
Yeah.
Or we're our goal this quarter is to get, I don't know, 1,000 MQLs. Well, what does that do for you? Like, it just mucks up your, it just adds like stuff into your CRM that no one's ever going to touch. And then sales is irritated because they're forced to like make it a prospect or an opportunity or whatever, even if it's not. And so like, those are the kinds of things. So I think that, one of our goals is to facilitate those kinds of conversations, and, maybe, make some change there so that we can get aligned better. And it's just better for the whole channel, because the partners get caught in the middle.
Yeah,
Right. The partners are
absolutely.
like,
Yep.
Your marketing team sent me these 17 emails and I don't want to send them. And the sellers could be like, well, I want MDF so they can do a calling campaign. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just trying to figure out what that.
Yeah. No,
what
you're
that
right. That's absolutely it. Next question. I only have a couple more. So Titan Cloud Solutions is known for its channel first, no direct sell ethos. So how can vendors and solution providers build that go-to-market strategy that honors a similar philosophy, basically empowering partners while scaling that revenue?
Well, if you're talking about just channel only companies, is that what you're
Yeah,
talking
well,
about?
yeah, because like I said, us being so small and nimble, we're like, let's just go channel first, because we know partners are like, okay, there's no direct sale,
Yeah.
conflict.
Yeah.
How can other vendors and solution providers do that build that go-to-market strategy that will honor that same go-to to market, but it would also empower power those partners while scaling that revenue, whether it is, direct or not.
Well, one of the misnomers I think that I've heard a lot over the last couple of years is partner-led growth, PLG, partner-led growth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the channel, it's not really partner-led. Let's be honest about it, right? Now, sometimes it is. Sometimes,
Yep.
Titan will get a new partner and that partner will walk you into a deal. 9 times out of 10, though, is that trust has to be built. And a lot of times what happens is you have to source the deal and bring the partner into it. Or like Jazz, you do that's why you're a connector, Ward, right? That you do a lot of co-selling with other companies in the channel that are also channel first, but also like complement what you do. So you kind of bring you all to work, together to bring a partner into the deal. So I think that it's that mindset shift from a lot of companies who enter the channel who think that, this is easy, right? Like, oh, I'm just going to get a bunch of partners to sell my stuff. It's not how it works. And especially when you're talking about MSPs, like they're monthly recurring revenue. So they are looking at that margin like crazy. And it's the profitability number that will, not only like affect their personal life, but affect it if they're ever going to get, bought by somebody, you know what I mean? And things like that. So they have to standardize their stack. So in order to get an MSP to rip and replace something, it takes a while, right? Or add something to meaningful to the stack. So I think it's the idea of entering it with your eyes wide open and understanding that you're playing a long game, that you are, enabling your partners, you're empowering them, but you're also going to have to do some of that work to get leads in from end users to bring partners in. So I think that's one of the biggest things that folks, especially folks entering the channel or looking to expand their channel, have to look at.
Yep. Amy, anything to add?
We would love it if everybody was channel first, but that's not going to be the case, right? And so it really is down to trust. Because if you are saying, you know what, we are a channel friendly organization, and both the company and the partner are in, the direct team and the partner are in the deal, then there has to be some rules of engagement. And a lot of times what we're seeing the most successful companies do is they're paying both. Right? They're not seeing it as an us versus them. It's seeing it as an us plus us. It goes and wins the deal, and we just pay everybody. And sometimes that's financially not possible for companies, but the successful ones are figuring out how to make it possible.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's the collaboration.
Yeah. And partners listen to other partners.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. They trust each other.
They will drown you on Reddit.
So they will talk and talk and talk. And if you screw a partner over, you're done. Don't let that happen.
Exactly.
We love the Technology Advisor Alliance. Ryan and Ashley Rowland have created a community where advisors can get together and they talk about you as vendors. Yeah, and you better do right by them in order for you to have a good reputation, out there.
And that's a great example with Ashley. I just spoke to her the other day about some stuff and you guys are familiar with Tech for Change, but I couldn't agree more. Mm-hmm. Last question. So where do you guys see channel marketing heading in the next 3 to 5 years from now? And what should leaders start investing in today to future-proof their channel programs?
I would say the biggest thing that we're seeing the change is AI-enabled partner personalization. So if you don't know AI and you don't know how to use it to really, fine-tune your partner program, come to us. We have the AI Accelerator course at the CMA Summit. We have an online course that you can go to our website and learn about it. But, using AI to predict which partners are going to perform, forecast event attendance, optimize your MDF. Like there's lots of things that you can be doing with AI that you maybe aren't realizing. And that's just with, like the channel GTM tools and things like that. Mm-hmm. There are also, sponsors in our ecosystem that have AI enabled, SaaS offerings. And so knowing what those are out there that exist, I think is really going to be a game changer. So the biggest thing that I see is, how is AI going to change the go-to-market motions for a lot of suppliers? Kathryn, I'll let you chime in.
Yeah, I think that, with the channel, Mark Twain said the rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated. We've heard over and over. I mean, I heard in the 90s that the internet was going to disintermediate the channel, that, oh, no one's going to buy from PCs from partners. They're just going to go online and order them. Well, that didn't happen. The channel got bigger, right? More complex solutions. And it's been, we've lived through the dot-com bust and the Wall Street bust and all these things, right? So I've heard lots of people are going to buy from a marketplace. People aren't going to use partners. I don't believe that, particularly on the SMB, because the average age of the SMB owner is 54 years old. Okay. So they're not going to just push buttons, not for the foreseeable future, for the next 3 to 5 years, for sure. I think, what that looks like, I don't know. I do think that, what Amy said in terms of the AI, and it's not just about, going to some LLM and saying, write me an email, right? You do have to have the knowledge, because you can tell. Like originally it was delve, right? The LLMs would put delve in and whatever. Now it's no fluff. Delve. Anytime I see no fluff, I'm like, I know you used AI, because I don't know why they have this, this infatuation with fluff, but they do. The LLMs, all of them are doing.
Yep.
So I think that, and I think the buyers are getting more skeptical. So when they see videos, and their immediate thing is like, oh, AI did that. So now they think you're lazy.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know.
So I do think there are some of that backlash. But I think the other thing is that outside of marketing and sales content and personalization, that's super important. It's going to be the people who understand how the data interacts, what data points, as Amy, kind of going back to Amy's point about like sitting down with sales and figuring out like what's in your CFO, figure out what's important to them, how you're able to extract those data points and put them together in a cohesive deck or whatever. You're the hero now. Now you're saying like, oh, here's your data points that you are measured against. Here's how we are measuring against those. And here's all of the research that backs that up. Yes. So not only are you need to be a marketer in terms of like the personalization and the content and all those things, but it's also like, how does the whole thing come together? And what data points are we showing that we're actually, facilitating that growth?
You absolutely. And it just made me think, just before our, podcast here, is I just had a call with leadership, and it was straight marketing, which was crazy because I'm usually in sales. We just did that. We took some data based off of what we currently have. How are we now going to market this in a way that will bring in the revenue? It's crazy how it literally tied everything in, because again, to Amy's point, if you're not aligned with sales and vice versa, that end result's never going to happen. It doesn't matter. You're in sales, you're in marketing. You have to align to get that going. So thank you guys. I really do.
Well, I mean, you're just a hamster on a wheel, right? Like if you're not looking for something, you're just going to keep dumping the leads in and getting nothing out. And then there's a problem.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The biggest thing I would say, I'm just going to add one thing. Yep. If you don't have a shared data infrastructure that everybody is going to as a single source of truth, you will always be behind.
Yes.
So
how many times do we hear that marketing doesn't have access to Salesforce? We're like, what?
Salesforce. What? We're like, what? We hear it all the time. This is not a one-off. Everybody has to have access to a single source of truth, that shared CRM where all the data is captured. I don't care what it is, but everybody has to have access to it. So that would be the one thing I would say: invest leadership in that one piece to get everybody on the same page. Yeah.
Agreed. Ladies, thank you so much for this conversation, and especially for the work you guys continue to bring to the channel and the marketing community together. It is always a pleasure to collaborate with you guys, because I know when we see each other, we're like catching up and whatever, but we always, have our things. But I am seriously looking forward to reconnecting again with you guys in Houston this March, which is, oh my God, less than a month away. Any last minute, couple of tidbits to give out before we end our little podcast?
Well, I'm just going to reiterate, we're so grateful for our sponsors. We're grateful for your support and Titan's support. And it's been a really interesting journey to see the people, how excited they are about what we're doing, what we're building at the Channel Marketing Association, and being able to serve that community is just, it's we have our own businesses, right? So we always joke about the fact that this is now a second full-time job, but it's okay. Like we enjoy it because we see that we're making an impact. So thank you, Jasmina.
Absolutely. Yeah. Amy?
I think I'm good. Thanks so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone listening and spending your time with us today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and found insights you guys can apply within your own channel and marketing programs. So until next time, this has been Channeling Success with Jasmina, and I look forward to bringing you guys another conversation with our next guest. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.